Good morning and welcome to our English lesson today. So in our previous lesson last week we talked about commonly confused words where we talked of lie and then we have lay, and we said lie can be being in a horizontal position or not telling the truth, not being truthful. So when you have lie, which is the present tense, you have also the past tense, and then you have the past participle. You have also the past participle of a verb. So lie, if you are horizontal, we say lie. The past tense becomes lay. The past participle becomes lay. But if it is lie of being in a horizontal position, then you have lie. The past tense becomes lied. The past participle becomes lied. And then lay, the ability to produce an egg. Lay, the past tense becomes laid. The past participle also becomes what? Becomes laid. And we say the rule for using the past participles of a word simply depends on what? If you have a helping verb or you don't have a helping verb, or you don't have a helping verb. Now you have that. We also have had, which means not easily to break or a difficult task. And we also have had, which is the past tense of the word has and have. We also have had, which is the past tense of the word here. And we also have had, which is a group of what? A collective noun referring to a group of cows, buffaloes, or elephants. So I said when it comes to these people, especially these, people make mistakes. Either somebody wants to say, I heard a loud bang from the door. Instead of using heard, which is the past tense of hear, the ability to perceive sound, somebody is going to say, I heard, which is the past participle of the word has and have, which is the past participle of the word has and have. And then heard, which is not easily broken, means not easily broken. You have this, when people are writing conversions, they mess up. And I kept saying this one, especially number one of lie, lie, lay, and lane. Number one, you make sure that you have you are conversant with this. When to use lay in the past tense, there's no helping verb, and in the past participle where there's a helping verb, where you must have a helping verb. They tested this in the exam a lot, many a times. This one comes in the exam. Number one comes in the exam. All you are supposed to do is make sure that you know when to use a certain word. It lies under commonly confused words because most people confuse them. Not only even learners, not only learners. So in our today's lesson, we are going to talk about pronouns. And under pronouns, we are going to talk about personal pronouns. So a pronoun, a pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun. Or that which stands in for a noun, We have different types of pronouns. We have personal pronouns, we have possessive pronouns, we have relative pronouns, we have reflexive pronouns, we have demonstrative pronouns. So I've said we have different types of pronouns. We have reflexive, which reflexive pronouns example is like himself, you have herself. And then we have possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns show what? Possessive pronouns show possession, like ownership. For example, has. You can have has, you can have his, you can have their. Showing possession, you can have our, you can have your, you can have your, you can have our. Those are possessive pronouns. And then we have relative pronouns. Examples of relative pronouns: who, you have which, you have whose, then you have who, you have whom. And then we have what we call reflexive, possessive, relative. We have what we call demonstrative pronouns. We have demonstrative pronouns. Examples of demonstrative pronouns like that, this, and if we have plural is those, and then you have this. But our main concern today is not about all the other examples of pronouns, which we will be going through as the days go by. But we are going to talk about personal pronouns. So personal pronouns lies under groups of pronouns. And why are they called personal pronouns? Personal pronouns refer to a person or a thing that has done something, or to whom something has been done to. So personal pronoun refers to the doer. For example, in short, you can simply say it refers to the doer or receiver of the action, or receiver of the action. It refers to the doer or receiver of the what? Or receiver of the action. Now, if I say to the doer or receiver of the action, for example, Amina beat the pupils. Amina beat the pupils. The same pronouns are used in places of noun or instead of noun. So you have Amina, which I can replace Amina with she, and I can replace the pupils with what? With them. Now she beat the pupils. She beat them. Now you have she standing in for Amina and pupils which are going to take them. Now you have she beat, for example, you have she beat them. Now she is the doer of the action. She is the doer of the what? Of the action, and them is the receiver of the action. Them is the receiver of the action. So if we say personal pronouns refers to the doer of the refers to the person doing and performing an action in a sentence, or to whom the action is being performed to. So we say in simple words, I said you can simply say it refers to the doer or the receiver of the action in a sentence. Now you are having I've given an example where I'm having Amina beat the pupils. And then if we can write this word, you can write this sentence without using the names Amina or the common noun pupils. Amina is a proper noun, pupils is a common noun. So you can simply say she beat them. She beat them. She being the person, the doer of the action, the person actually performing the action. An action is simply a verb in a sentence. And then you have them, which are the receiver of the action, to whom the action has been done to. So becomes them. Those are what we call personal pronouns. But personal pronouns are divided into two groups. We have group 1, which is called the nominative. Nominative, doers of the action. For example, doers, they do the action. And then we have what we call the objective personal pronouns, which are the receivers of the action. Now we can have let's come up with a table. We've said nominative, doers, and then objective are receivers. Personal pronouns are divided into two groups. We have number 1, nominative, and then we can have number 2, where we have objective pronouns. Yeah. So we have nominative, and then we have objective. So we have nominative. Example: we have he, we have I, we have we have they, we have she, we have it, and then we have you. Objective, we have what? He. Objective, we have him. Objective, we have him. And then we have I becomes me. We becomes us. And then they is them. She is her. And then it and you are both nominative, and they are also objective. So you have nominative, and then you have objective. He, I, we, they, she, it, you. Pronoun: him, me, us, them, her, it, and you. So you realize that we have nominative pronouns and then we have objective pronouns. But all these are what we call personal pronouns. Before we break them down into nominative and objective, they just lie under one group. For example, if you get a question and then the which one of the following is not a personal pronoun, maybe A, they give you he, B, they give you him, C, they give you I. Him, me, us, he, I, we, they, she, it, you, them, her are all personal pronouns. But when you break them down, when you break them down into types of personal pronouns, where we have nominative and then we have objective, is when we are going to have those ones that we use in the nominative, and those ones that we use in the objective, Now, when it comes to pronouns, like a person is in a position to come up with types of, like a person is in a position to name examples of personal pronouns. But when it comes to using them in a sentence, that is where we have the trap, that's where we have the problem. Most learners cannot use these pronouns correctly in a sentence. Not because they don't know, but maybe they confuse them. So we are going to talk of how to use personal pronouns in a sentence, So we can talk of how to use personal pronouns in a sentence. We are going to go with how to use personal pronouns. How to use personal pronouns in a sentence. How to use personal pronouns in a sentence. So we have that. Number one, when you are comparing, always use the nominative pronouns. Number one, when comparing, always use nominative. Always use nominative pronouns. Always use nominative pronouns. When you are comparing, you use the nominative pronouns. When I talk of comparing, it's simply the comparative degree of adjectives. Now, when comparing, always use the nominative pronouns. Example in a sentence, you can say, she is taller. She is taller than I. So I have she, and then I have I. And then why am I comparing? Comparing is simply the comparative degree of the adjective. So you have she is taller than I. When comparing, always use the nominative pronoun. Always use what? Nominative pronoun. You can say he is more handsome. He is more handsome. Yes, he is more handsome than you. You realize that you is a personal pronoun, at the same time is an objective personal pronoun, and it can also be a nominative a personal pronoun. So he is more handsome than you. So you have you, and then you have he, and I have more handsome, which is the comparative. I hope I'm clear. When you are comparing, always use the nominative pronoun. Number two, when given two subjects, also always use the nominative pronoun. So rule number two, example here we can say she is taller than I. She is taller than I. She's taller than I. And the comparative degree, I say when comparing, so you should come here and then underline comparing, which means in the comparative degree of adjectives. She, example in a sentence, you can say she is taller than I. You have she, then you have I. Always use the nominative pronoun. Pronouns. And then number two, when given two subjects, when you are given two subjects, always when given two subjects, always use nominative pronoun. Pronouns. Now, when you are given two subjects, what are the subjects? The doers of the action in a sentence. And I hope you remember this, especially when we talked about subject-verb agreement. The doers of the action. When you are given two subjects, which means they are doing or performing an action in a sentence. Always use nominative pronouns. Example, you can say, Amina, I've seen this question in an exam. Amina and Dash went to the show. For example, you have a question. They say Amina and Dash went to the show. So A, they give me, which most people choose, and then B, they give Amina and you can have he. Then C, you can have us, and then D, you can have they. You can have them. Now you realize that when you are given this, most people choose me, and I like if actually me sounds correct. Amina and me went to the show. It is wrong. You come here, you come to the answers, especially if you don't know. But if you have some little knowledge of when you're having objective and nominative pronouns, then you are in a position to even get, you are also in a position to get this question correct. Why? Because you'll identify that me is objective, us is objective, and them is also objective. The only nominative pronoun you're having in this sentence is he. The only nominative pronoun you're having in the sentence is what? Is he. Now, if you even have the knowledge of personal pronouns, and then under personal pronouns, you know you have nominative and then you have objective. But what if you don't know this? You simply come to the question. So you have Amina, which means I can replace Amina with she. Amina is a girl, so I can replace Amina with she. No, you construct sentences using each of the pronouns you've been given. For example, I'll say she went to the shop. She went to the shop. My sentence is correct. Now come and use your answers that you've been given. Me went to the shop. Sentence is wrong, grammatical, poor arrangement of words. He went to the shop. Sentence is correct. Us went to the shop. The sentence is wrong. Them went to the shop. It is wrong. Simply construct sentences given the answers you've been given. She and he, so the correct answer is going to be what? She and he went to the shop. She and he went to the what? She and he went to the shop. Most people just know that you can have she and I went to the shop, because I went to the shop, she went to the shop. But you all realize that when the options that you've been given in an exam do not have I, most people are going to fail, because they just know it is she and I went to the shop. I went to the shop. But what if you've been given another personal nominative pronoun? So that's why you should be in a position to know objective and nominative, especially if you don't know how to use them, how to replace them in a sentence, Now, rule number 3 is after prepositions, use what? After prepositions, use objective. After prepositions, use objective pronoun. After prepositions, use objective pronoun. After prepositions, you are going to use objective what? You are going to use objective pronoun. What are prepositions? They show the relationship between maybe a verb and a place. So you can examples of prepositions. Let's for example from. You can have in. You can have on. You can have between. You can have between. You can use ama. You can use among. So if you see this under, you can have under. You can say whatever. So these are prepositions. They are what? Prepositions. Now you realize prepositions that are also divided into groups, but we are not getting into that. So when you have and after a preposition, always use a what? Always use an objective pronoun, Example, that is rule number 3. After preposition, use an objective pronoun. Example, she is different. She is different. She's different from dash. You say she's different from me. She's different from what? She's different from me. Or you can say, for example, you can also say she's different from me. You say divide the mango among. For example, you can also say divide the mango. Divide the mango among. You say divide the mango among them. Which is what? You have among, which is a preposition, and then you follow it with what? An objective pronoun. Or you can also say the secret. You can say the secret. For example, you can say the secret is between. The secret is between dash and dash. The secret is between dash and a dash. Now, the secret is between him and me. Him and me. I'm having him, which is an objective pronoun, and I'm having me, which is also an objective pronoun. Now I have between, which is a preposition. Make sure you go through the notes. Make sure you listen. You make short notes, and then I'm going to leave questions so that you can attempt and see if you got this correct. Have a good day.